My mic is now audible. So today I thought we would talk about the album Showbiz and my review, as the title would suggest. That would be the title. The title will be Showbiz Review or something like that. I've tried to record reviews before, but I'm not great at laying out structure, but I've got all the tracks written down. I gave it a listen the other day, and it's a decent album. How do I lead into this? Let's just lead into it. So it came out in like 1999 or something like that, 1998, maybe 1998. I don't quite remember. I should have checked. Who can be asked for that? And the album, it starts off with a track called Sunburn, which, I mean, it's got a sexy motherfucking riff, sexy motherfucking bass line, and builds up very nicely. The track does a very nice build up. As the track goes on, there's this like piano intro which comes in, I think it kind of lingers throughout the whole track, and it builds up to this really nice like arpeggio at the end, where it's like, that's the best way I can describe it. So yeah, it's a very awful representation of how it goes, and Matt's vocals are, they're decent on the track. I think clearly we're listening to this whole album. His vocals are very, they're not at his best, but they are good nonetheless. They are good to listen to, and he's screeching at the end of this track. When he reaches it, hide from the world. It's very raw, very powerful, and you're like, oh damn, yo, that shit's going hard. And I think in general, it's a very good track for the beginning of the album, and in a sense, not just the beginning of the album, but the beginning of Muse. Yes, they'd released their self-titled EP prior to this, but still, it's a very good introduction to the Muse in general. That song, and it contains a lot of kind of a lot of trademarks of what makes Muse in the track itself, and it's like a condiment. You listen to it, and then you can see where it'll take them in the future, both good and bad. And it's a decent track, and it leads up into Muscle Museum, which I would say the style is kind of a bit different. Still got this tension that Sunburn has. It's got like these kind of dissonant chords, it's not nice to listen to be honest, Muscle Museum. It's a very nasty, gnarly track, the Oh, I should rehearse these beforehand. Yeah. But it feels so, it's oddly groovy, strangely groovy, and it feels like you're on one of those spinny park things. You'd be on it and you'd be holding on tight, and then your mate would spin you around really fast, and you'd be dizzy as shit. That's what it feels like listening to that track. Like you can feel your stomach churning, and you might vomit. You probably won't vomit, but it feels like you're gonna vomit, and that's what this track kind of sounds like, and it reminds me like. And not to say it's not to put a damper on the track. It's still a really good track, but that's what it feels like, and it's really good in the sense of how it feels so off kilter and just the music video. I don't know, if you've seen the music video, it's like. What the fuck is going on? It's just a bunch of people just grinning, that's the whole music video, from what I can remember. A very interesting music video. I don't know what they were thinking there, but hey, Matt was in that abstract plane of thought. This is where you get some of the lyrics that are a bit like not so good. I gotta say, lyrically on this album, it ain't too good. Matt Bellamy talking about playing in toilets and stuff like that. Of course, the context makes it make sense and stuff, but still, it's like, yeah, Matt Bellamy's lyricism is not at the best right now. But yeah, it's a really good track. I think it's very seems very imaginative. The melody and the whole track itself, it just shows the potential of Muse and what they have and what they can bring uniquely, and their individual personality as a group. And it's a very good track, and I'd say a step up from Sunburn personally. I think I used to prefer Sunburn, but now I prefer Muscle Museum. I think its payoff is a lot nicer at the end to Sunburn, but let's you hope maybe this album will continue this good trend, but unfortunately the next track is Philip, which is a bit whatever. It's a very whatever track, I can't see anyone else making it other than Muse, but I mean, it's good. I mean, it just seems like a track which is just about having fun, rocking out. I remember there's this live clip where it's the build-up point just before kind of the end, where it's like boo doo 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 doo, and you can just see them all grinning to each other like yo, let's fucking hit this shit. But it's a fun track, not as introspective and as like explorative in terms of themes and styles as Muscle Museum and Sunburn, but it's a fun track. It's a fun little track, and then the album kind of just it goes to a bit more of a cool point, simmers down a bit to falling down with this acoustic intro, not instrumental intro. Instrumental would be interesting. I wonder what that track could sound like in an instrumental, but it's not. It's got Matt Bellamy's vocals in it, and personally, now mentioning that, I feel like this track would be better if it was just an instrumental, but it is what it is. Matt's talking about irrelevancy, when you grow up in a place so small, and that feels like it's irrelevant because this world is very much about cities and stuff like that, and if you don't live in a city, nothing happens, nothing goes on. But it's not true. I've lived in cities, and it's just as boring, parenthesis, for fucking quotation marks, boring, whatever, parentheses, it's not boring, it's just life. But growing up in a village, which I have as well, can feel very irrelevant. You're far away from people. I used to live in a town before I moved to the village, so all my friends were far away from me, but I still went to the school, so I still knew them. And it was a very interesting relationship I had there with my childhood friends. Falling Down, it's like all the other tracks, it's got a build up at the end. I think it's not bad, and Matt Bellamy's fucking crying his heart out at the end, it wasn't you, no. Okay, so yeah, it's an interesting track. It's a nice track. I think I can vibe with it. I can connect to it in a sense, but to me, there is a lot better kind of tracks of this type that Muse would make in the future. But it was nice to listen to. So yeah, it was a good little track, and it goes on to Cave, which has always been one of my favourites of the album. And after when I was re-listening to it, it still hits. I can remember so many nights listening to the EP, which had Host and Coma, and then a remix, which was absolute trash. I've just remembered it now. I was like, there was a fourth track, wasn't there? It's a Cave remix. Holy shit, it's terrible. Don't listen to it. I think there was a whole thing about how Muse never listened to it, and they put it on the EP, and then they listened to it, and they're like, oh, fuck, why did we put this on the EP? But it is what it is, but it surprised me with how much Cave hit me. You know, the lyrics are peak on Showbiz. They are peak Matt Bellamy lyricism, I think, you know. Trying to remember some. You know, come in my cave and I'll burn your heart away. Come in my cave. It's angsty, it's edgy, teenage lyricism, you know, but it's good. It's good. It's not like, you know, it's not like Falling Down or Philip. I don't even know if Philip was about. It's like, oh, it's happening soon. Something is blowing in my direction. Don't know what the hell he's going on about. Maybe some friendship that's kind of simmered out and died down. I don't know. That's the most I can get from Philip. But Cave, it seems to be, you know, about this hypothetical cave that people will go into. And in this one, Matt Bellamy's cave in particular, the one he hides away in, the one he doesn't, you know, if people see me, man, then, oh, dude, you're going to get fucking burned, dude, because my cave is evil, man. Yo, what goes on inside my head, bro? I don't know, man, but I feel twisted, man. I feel conflicted, man. I feel evil, bro. So that's Cave. That's Cave. And it's a good track. It's a very good track. Gives me goosebumps. I mean, the instrumental is, you know, it's full of all these little quirks and these nice sounds that really add to the track and to what you can see in your head. And, you know, despite Sunburn, Muscle Museum, I think, getting the biggest gravitational pull towards them in the media, I think Cave is the best single released. And honestly, I mean, looking over the whole album, I would say it's my favourite track. You know, for me, Cave is the best that they make in this album. From like the build up, it feels truly rewarding. Other tracks have it. To me, they don't feel as rewarding. I think Sunburn is good, but Cave, it's just got this great transitions. Like the transitions between there goes my speakers, verse and chorus and bridge. It all works very nicely. They slide into each other so well with all the assisting sounds that help to build that. Out of all the tracks, this track has just held on to its place in my heart personally. Cave, real good track from the album. Takes us on to Showbiz, which I mean I remember I really loved the track back in the day. You know, it was a real slow burner, and it's good. It is really good. You know, controlling my feelings for too long, controlling my feelings for too long, pulling us into self-destruction. Very, you know, dramatic, angsty, like a lot of lyrics on this album. But hey, you know what? It works because the atmosphere that's created on the track is. Oh man, the outro from Cave, where then just that thumping drum comes in, you know, dum 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 dum. You got the bass line kind of just giving it a little bit of whoop, yeah, a little bit of whoop, and yeah, it's a very good slow burner. You know, it pays off, but for me, when I was re-listening to it, it doesn't pay off for me as well as Cave does. You know, I don't know why. Maybe it was the mood I was in when I was listening. But it's still really, really good track. Really good track. It's a strong follow-up to Cave. I mean, so far, out of all the tracks, I've only had one meh track. Oops, knocked my mic a bit there. But yeah, this is Showbiz. Very, very nice track. Very nice. But for what Muse can make with a track like that, not as good as those. Megalomania, yo, you fucking rock. We love Megalomania. We love Ruled by Secrecy. Those tracks absolutely blow Showbiz out of its fucking pond, mate. Showbiz, I mean, which actually reminds me that this track has an odd feeling. I mean, I think the album cover emanates it very nicely. I think the album cover is actually one of the best capturings of this album. I love how she's dipping her toe into this puddle, you know, this like puddle. It's very just the image for Showbiz is one of Muse's best, personally. I'm getting sidelined here, but I have to talk about the album cover, because the album cover is very just mystical, and it's kind of just full of wonder. it looks like she's on some astral plane out. You could say it's the moon, but there's this swampy vibe, and I just find it. I think it's such an interesting image for the album, and I think it captures it very nicely. And for me, Showbiz captures that kind of image, and you could probably see Cave in the background sitting there, just like, yo, what's good, man? But yeah, Showbiz, obviously, self-titled track after the album. I think it does a very good job at capturing show business through the lyrics and stuff. Whether, I don't know, I did remember some time ago having some thoughts about whether Matt Bellamy has kind of, I don't know, Showbiz lifestyle is one that sucks you in, and he's definitely, Muse is a very popular band, very big band. Showbiz has certainly touched upon them, but I think this stands as a staple of his thoughts at the time on what show business can do to people. I don't think they're as bad as Simon Cowell or anything, but Muse have certainly been endorsed by, very popular imagery, and show busy. They are quite show busy. I mean, they love flashy lights and flashy shows and stuff like that, which is essentially showbiz on the surface layer. Goes deeper than that, of course. Show business can be full of much lies and much deceit, much deals twisted in favour of one person who's more greedy than another. And I think the track does a pretty decent job at capturing that, personally. So, yeah, it's a good track, and it does a good job at capturing what it wants to capture. From there, it goes into Unintended, which is, it's acoustic track where Matt is kind of talking about how broken his heart is and stuff like that, and saying words like he uses some fancy words, the most fanciest words you can find in this track. You could be my unintended choice to live my life extended. I'll be there. I'm trying to remember them. This is a life I've had before. You could be the one who listens to my deepest inquisitions. I don't know. I don't know why. I had to find a word. There's other words as well, but I just can't quite remember them right now. He's in a state of introspection, and he's like, really thinking deep here. He's like, oh man, it's digging in deep here, man, digging in deep in my mind, but not in the cave kind of sense, in the unintended kind of sense. And yeah, it's, I remember not really digging the track when I was younger, but re-listening to it, it's good. It's a good track. I think it's improved in my mind. It has a lot of nice little kind of sounds that pass by the ears. It's not about the main dum 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 dum. It's all the other sounds that kind of build up this nice floating image in your head of, and I think the music video, though terribly done, I think if it was done better, it really does capture the soundscape of the track and how everything is warping, kind of. You have the core sounds and the warping around it, and I think it's a very, very, what could be beautiful imagery if captured right, but you can capture it in your mind, so that's fine, and I think it's a very, very nice track. I much prefer it now. But when we go into Uno, we go back into the loud stuff, and that's what this track is. It's like, look at me, I am loud. That is this track. But it's got the it's very Pixies inspired, that grunge inspired. You got the verses, which are like wait, that's Dark Shines. It's, wait, what is it? What's the I've forgotten how it goes on this track. I can just think of Dark Shines. Well, I guess Dark Shines is actually just an improvement on this track, because Dark Shines is but Uno is still good, and I remember really loving it back in the day. Is it as good as it is now? I think it's still just a fun track to just be like, fuck you to, you're in your room, you're by yourself, you're listening to Uno, and you're just going, you could have been number one, you could have ruled the whole world, and just rocking out to it, because why the fuck not? The guitar shreds, it shreds through, that when it goes from the verse to the chorus, and it goes very bad representation, but you know, and yeah, it's good track, good chaotic track, which you can just fucking just go to, it's a good track, I like it, and the bass lines, very, very nice, and then we go into Sober, which, interesting topic, imagine it was just like, they were just sitting there, making tracks, and then, I don't know, I feel like Dom, for some reason, Dom was just there. He's like, oh, yo guys, what would be a good topic? We should put a fun riff and a groovy track over, you know what I mean? Okay, you know what I think would be a good topic? And was there like, yo, what? He's like, how about sobriety and withdrawal? Everyone was like, yeah, fuck it, let's fucking do that. And they did it, and he got sober, and it's a good track. It's a fun track, maybe... I think in ways it does capture that kind of the burn of whiskey and all the different alcohols. It seems to be about whiskey the most, just having a little sip of the whiskey. And Matt's lyrics on the track, they're very interesting and clever. Personally, I think, Royal Canadian blended, the spicy aroma had mended me, and you're the only reason I remain unfrozen. I think his lyrics are really good in this, despite what the track is about. I think it's a really solid track, He captures the flavors and smells of alcohol very nicely, and it's just like for what it kind of like, the initial reaction to it is like, okay, interesting, cool, it rocks, but then I think the lyrics are actually just really, really good. I think Matt's pen game here, let's say pen game, like he's a fucking rapper. Yeah, his pen game is good. It's good. I think he's really clever lyrically in this track, and the sounds are just very, very fun. I mean, that dan with that synthesizer. I forgot. Was this I tried to capture the sound where it's like, oh man, that's terrible. But it's good. It's a good little track, and I think all the different sections, where it's going, and it's like I'd say, out of all the tracks where you can just have fun to, this track is the best. Philip, cool, but sober is up there with like Panic Station on level of fun and just rocking out and just having a good time. It is a really good track. I think in that area of stuff, it just does a really good job at what it goes for, and really love Sober. It's good shit. Then we go into Escape, and this track has never caught me, really. This track is the absolute bummer of the whole album for me. Even back in the day, maybe I would have preferred it to Unintended, but these days I just, clearly the track is about, from what I remember, Matt's observation of his parents and their clash of relationship and stuff, and how, it didn't really work. I might be wrong, but from what I remember of looking into the lyrics fucking 9 years ago, that's what the track was about. And, it's an alright track, I think, like, it just, to me, it just doesn't grab me that much. So yeah, that's all we've really got to say about Escape. Sorry if anybody loves Escape, not my kind of thing, to be honest. But then we go into Overdue, which for me, the only thing that keeps me like on this track and like loving it is the kind of intro, and that sound that like skate. What I can think the sound would be with like Matt scraping the guitar strings and then speeding it up on the software or something. So it's like, okay, it's you know if you know, and it's like. And it's kind of like you're getting sucked into this kind of thing, this metallic tube. You're getting sucked in, and it's a really cool sound, and that is what keeps me going to this track and listening to it. Other than that, it's very whatever. It's just that one sound that grabs me, and for me, I really do like sounds that are unique. I can't think of. I can think of other Muse tracks that have captured that kind of similar sound, but it's a very cool sound. Very cool sound. Other than that, it gets you rocking, gets you singing. But yeah, the noise really, that's the coolest bit. Moving on from that one, which is Hate This and I'll Love You. I remember this being my cousin's favourite track from school at one point, at least. I remember him saying, "Oh, I really love that track," but I never really got it. There's like this one line which I really like. So we all discard our souls and blaze through your sky, so unafraid to die. It's a very, very nice track. Nice line. I really like that line. But other than that, the lines are very whatever, I was born to destroy you. I mean, come on. What is that? That's some weak shit. But, it just, the inconsistencies of Matt's poetry and Matt's angsty, I hate the world and I hate everything kind of phase, it's just, yeah, and it's structurally, it's a cool track. It's a cool build up at the end, and I do like the. That was me trying to capture the piano sound at the end and the closer. It's a very nice, like, oh, that's sweet. And then you got these kind of swampy sounds going back to the whole vibe of the album with these little weird swamp kind of touches, which I like that the aquatic astral sound of the that the album could capture. It doesn't capture it as well as it could have. I think that would have been really cool if that was a focus on the album. It would have really just like been like, ooh, cool, this aquatic astral vibe, which some of the tracks like this one, like I think Cave and Showbiz capture. And not really a lot of the tracks on the album capture it very nicely, but that nice little outro I really do like, and it places you in the setting. You're just looking out. Then we got the bonus track, Spiral Static, which I'm including because when I got the album on iTunes, it was on there, and I always listened to it, and I always thought it was a really, really good track. I think it was B-side to I don't know why, but I feel like it actually would have been a B-side for an Origin of Symmetry track, but it was on this album, so it must have been one of these tracks. Maybe, I can't remember. I don't know. But for me, it's similar to Overdue, with the winding kind of going through something. I mean, the title of the track, Spiral Static, suggests that it's that, and it is that, the kind of ghostly, ethereal kind of sounds that just like, it's like, whoa, where am I going, man? Where am I going? And then, you got the kind of vocals come in with Matt, and I forget what he says in the track, and then it goes to this kind of boom ba, and it keeps like kind of, you hear those background vocals chanting in kind of the background on each side of the ear. And you'll discard our souls. That's another lyric from a track, but you know what I mean. And then, you know, I forget. I'm getting this track mixed up with other tracks now. Get on my head. Spirostatic. Oh, in the eye and lyrics, and oh my god, I like the lyrics in the track. I just can't think of them right now. I need to search them up. Hold on, give me a sec. Spirostatic lyrics. Yes. You're running out of time as it grows in your eye. Ooh. Feel broken inside you, feel, and then it calms down. Sigh, static moans, a storm growing strong is coming my way. So I mean, just lyrically, I think it's a very nicely made track. You know, and it's just, why did they not include it on the album? Why didn't they include it on the album? Because it's a bonus track. That's what I remember. Because now I'm reading, it says about album Showbiz. It wasn't on Showbiz. Was it on Showbiz? It wasn't. Hold on. Give me a sec. It wasn't on Showbiz. It was a bonus track. What was it on? It must be an EP. An EP. Well, I wonder what some of this says. Who's ever known how much to moan and groan and quiver inside? This song is about giving birth. No one really knows how much giving birth is going to hurt, and thus how much they're going to moan and groan. Is it really? He presumably, the doctor overseeing the birth, is giving the patient drugs to help and catering to what she needs to be comfortable, i.e. pillows, water, chocolate and morphine. Interesting. Never saw a track like that myself, but hey, you know, that's what this person's saying, and it's on Genius, so it must be correct. Wait. In all of Escape. Wait, hold on. Or a bonus track in the Japanese version of Showbiz. In all of the versions, Escape is track 10, and all of the tracks from there on are one track back. What the fuck? Plug-in Baby single? It was on the Plug-in Baby single. It was. Oh my god. Anyway, yeah, so that's that track, and I think it's really cool. A really good track. I really dig it. Dig it, man. It's a good track. So yeah, that's the album. So Muse have been a band that I've listened to for a long time. A long time. The longest time out of all the bands that I've properly listened to. They were like the first band that kind of made me just properly explore music for myself, instead of listening to whatever my mum or dad put on in the car. This album was never my favourite, but it is a good one, and it's a solid start for Muse. I think, you know, approaching 25 years old, you know, it's not bad. It's not bad. Does it hold up? Yeah, does it hold up for me after 10 years? Not really. You know, some tracks do. Cave really, you know, holds on, and it hit me emotionally when I listened to it not long ago. I think, yeah, I really enjoy that track. Unintended has grown on me a lot more. I can appreciate the soundscape that it makes. Or Uno, Sunburn and Muscle Museum probably have gone down from when I used to listen to it a while ago. Younger me. But they're still good tracks. And not great, but they're good tracks. But yeah, I mean, it's their first album. So, you know, what I was going to say, it's their first album. And they've got however many albums, 9, 10? A good amount, and there's so many better tracks of different variants that were on this album. You know, Origin of Symmetry's next, and that album is top tier. But yeah, from when I listened to it, I had to give the album a 4, pushing into a 5 out of 10, because you know, I mean, I've listened to the album probably each track more than 100 times, aside from Unintended. Like, definitely each track more than 100 times. And Cave, for me, it's a carrier. It's a carrier of this album. You know, it's KD is killing it, and it's got to be out of like 8 out of 10 for Cave. You know, it's just a really fucking dope track. While other tracks, Sunburn, Muscle Museum, when I listen to them, they just don't grab me as well as they used to. They're good tracks, and I'm not going to deter you from listening to the album or the tracks themselves, because they are good tracks. But yeah, I mean, 5s and 6s out of 10s. Escape, Falling Down, Philip going to like 4 and 3, and well, just kind of dragging down the album quite a bit. So that's why I have to say probably 5 out of 10. You know, 4 pushing to 5, because yeah, I mean, the majority of the album is kind of I think the majority is in the high end, but it's the other tracks that are 3 out of 10 and 4 out of 10. So I'd have to say 5. I'll stick with 5. 5 is my final rating of the album, personally, for me. But yeah, so the next album I'll do will be Origin of Symmetry. And should I do a better job at this? Probably should. Suggest to me how I could probably do this better, because I'm rubbish. But yeah, Origin of Symmetry, I'll do that one next. Hopefully you've stuck around for a bit, maybe, who knows. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed consuming the content and stuff. Thank you, appreciate it, and I hope you want to listen to my future opinions as well. Nighty night. Yep, that's my outro.